Hey, you there. Thank you for watching. And welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest, ending with Team 2 in the Southeast. Starting off with Team 1's orange to color orange player. As a Cybern, he is Lazy Noob, and he is a 1400 to his north. In Forest Green, it's Twitchy Mofo. He is a 1500 as a Cybern as well. In Riverbed to his east, we have the player of Snog as a Seraphim, and he is a 1900 to his north. In Chevy Crimson, we have Nomad going as a Seraphim as well as a 2000 rated player, the highest rated player on his team and tied for the highest rated overall. To his northwest, in Batman Gray as Callus, he is a Cybern, and he is a 1500 in, again, Batman Gray. And in the middle of Team 1's lineup in the rear, we have in glow-in-the-dark green, Mutalal. He is a Seraphim as a 1300. So over Team 1 side of the map, they are exclusively Cybern and Seraphim. So 3 Cyberns and 3 Seraphim, divvied up evenly. So no UEF and no Aeon for Team 1. Starting up with Team 2's Western player and working our way eastward, we have in Regal Purple, Tesla Max going as a UEF as a 1400. In Light Oak Tan in the east is Katsu. He is an Aeon, and he is a 1500. In Emerald Green in the middle of Team 2's lineup, it is a Zeros. He is a 2000 rated player, tied for the highest on his team and tied for the highest with him, one other person, and Nomander on Team 1 for highest rated overall. And again, he is in Emerald Green. And the player with which he is tied with on his team is Dimitri 11 going as UEF as well. He is in Pac-Man Yellow as a 2000 rated player. In the east, we have on the eastern side of the map, Signal Runner as a Snow White player as a 1500. And last but not least, for Team 2 in lightish red pink is aptly named the Pink Bomber. He is a Seraphim as a 1200. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 3 UEF, 2 Seraphim, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 2 lacks Cybern technology. And as a reminder, Team 1 lacks both UEF and Aeon technology. And for 12 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 11,000 mass, a little bit under, I think it's 900 or so. It's roughly about, I think it's like 870 something mass per player to scoop up. Not a terrible amount, not as much as I would like to see for 12 players, but it's not too bad. Most of it does reside on the northeastern side of the map, with a couple pockets of hundreds or so kind of dotted around the map. And on Team 2's side of the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Oh, sorry, how many mass points they have to grab. They have a Trimex on the coast here in the south, another Trimex on one of the middle causeway positions, and another one towards the east of that, and then another one on that northeastern peninsula. Besides that, there's a couple of one-off mexes in the back with a Trimex position, most likely for the rearguard airshot player of the Pink Bomber. And there is a decent amount of mexes to grab in the middle of the map, with those being circled by yours truly. And there's a couple of mexes on this tiny little island in the southwest corner of the map. So we might see a little bit of naval play, maybe as much as T2 fighting over this. Maybe someone will go T3. There isn't any Aeons on Team 1, so I don't expect, obviously, missile ships. Team 2 might invest in that, but it's probably just going to be Tesla Max going for cruisers, as he is a UEF for those cruiser missile launchers on board those warships. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and see where our players are off to in this game. There is a decent amount of no man's land in the northeastern side of the map, with land kind of being very difficult to traverse for both teams. So it's going to be pretty much transports, I would assume, to get to the other side of the map to get to these Trimex positions. I would pretty much assume that one team will control the entirety of the northeastern corner, probably about 20 minutes, given its kind of isolated environment. We do see that 2 players are headed to the middle, actually 3 players, excuse me, are headed to the middle of the map here for Team 1, that being the 2 red players and the Batman Gray player of Callus, Nomander, and Snog. Versus, it looks like Dimitri 11 and Azuros. We don't see any movement out from Signal Runner on the eastern edge of the map, but in the middle we do see it's going to be a 1v1 on the southwest side with Lazy Noob versus Tesla Max. And in the middle, it's probably going to be a 2v1 in favor of Team 1 with Mutulal and Twitchy versus Katsu. Looks like the Pink Bomber and Signal Runner have not decided to move towards the middle of the map here, which will give Team 1 a 6-4 comm advantage. As this game does progress, we might see those players leave, but as of right now, they have not. The first comm-on-comm action might be between Snog and Team 2's Azuros. If Dimitri11 does not come and assist his teammate, I was going to say he's going to be pushed back, which he is anyways. He notices the threat, isn't really wanting to sacrifice himself for one tiny little mechs, and will decide to cede it to his opponent. Middle lines are being drawn here by both teams. Looks like pretty much going to be divvied up evenly between these sets of mechs. Maybe we'll see Lazy Nuke getting a little bit of an advantage more than Tesla Max. He's playing a little bit more defensively, and his opponent of Lazy is playing a little bit offensively. But we'll just see which strategy works out in the end. Gun upgrade has been started for Azuros to combat the multiple comms inbound for Team 1. T2 being built from Mutulao's perspective so he can be more defensive playing, while Twitchy can be more of an offensive playing. Commander gun speed and range has been started for both Nomander and Snog almost simultaneously. So we'll see who ends up finishing that upgrade first. In the northeast, mainly the focus of Signal Runner trying to establish himself, with a couple of interceptors being a little bit annoying from Team 1. But as of right now, Team 2 is the only one that has a foothold for the time being. There's a couple of Thams outbound from Team 1's Nomander, but again, there is a facility online which will cut down travel time significantly for Signal Runner's forces and not for, obviously, Nomander. So far, Nomander looks like he's paused that upgrade, and Snog will finish it first at this rate. Gun damage range has been started for Dimitri11, so both UEF commanders reversing off against two Seraphim commanders, with Callus a Cybrid moving northward. We might see some sort of pincer maneuver starting to emerge here for Team 1's Callus, but it's a little bit ways off. He has no forces, no assistance, no nothing, just himself moving to the northeast side of the map. The engineers have all been killed off by those Thams. Bombers inbound here from Pink Bomber and Team 2's Signal Runner, so both of them deploying bombers to deal with the incoming threat of Team 1's Nomander. That gun upgrade is done, but by the time that Snog reaches Azuros, he'll be pretty much done or close to being done at this rate. And then it'll be Signal Runner coming in to assist as well. So it looks like it is going to be a 3v2 now in favor of Team 2. Now that Callus has moved to the north to claim that Trimax position up there. Gun speed and range has been started from Katsu, and we do see that Twitchy Mofo's holding position. Gun damage and range has been finished. Sorry, speed and range has been finished for Lazy Noob, and Tesla is falling back to a more defensible position. Gun upgrade has finished for Azuros. Snog is pushing forward. Overcharges kills of a couple of units from Snog, and it's going to be more about the veterancy more than about killing off the comms. We do see that the forces sitting behind Snog versus Azuros sitting... Sorry, Snog is sitting in front of his forces while Azuros is sitting behind his forces. That's what I meant. And the gun speed upgrade is almost done here for Nomander. Nano repair has been started by Dimitri, and it's almost done, so he has gun and nano on board with the assistance of Signal Runner, which means it's going to be a huge advantage to Team 2 on this little middle causeway bridge position, whatever you want to call that. Bombers have pretty much routed most of the forces here from Team 1. We do see some engineers dropped up by Mutulao, scoop up a little bit of a reclaim, and going after the Trimax position. Speed is done now, going for range. Speed upgrade coming online here for Twin Mofo. Tactical missile has been started for Mutulao, and gun upgrade has been started for Tesla Max, trying to hold off Lazy Noob while his comm does finish that upgrade. And Team 1's red forces and commanders are being pushed back by the tri-comms of Signal Runner, Dimitri11, and Azuros. Most of the fire is going down on Snog's commander. He's trying to hold them up, but he is falling into the red, sub 2,000 hit points and falling. And it might be the first kill of the game at 7 minutes. If Signal Runner gets in range, that is a DED dead commander. Team 1 land facility is trying to be built to halter the pathfinding of Team 1, but Snog is going to be defeated. He got a rank eventually, but it does not matter. Team 1 has suffered the first loss of the game at the hands of Team 2 at 7.5 minutes, that being Snog being killed off by both a combination of Dimitri11 and Azuros. Azuros is in the low red at 1,800 hit points and falling, and a couple of units have gone around the little mountainside and will force Signal Runner and both Team 2's Dimitri to fall back, but he's actually not falling back. He's pressing the attack while Azuros goes back to rep up his hit points, and he's going to start a nano repair upgrade just to do so. Gun, range, and speed has been done on Katsu's commander. Going to push on Twitchy Mofo, but a tactical missile and gun is going to be finishing, and there's a lot of forces here for both of these players. And in the southwest, that gun upgrade did finish for Tesla Max, and Lazy Noob is in the yellow and falling. He doesn't have a lot of his units for support, which means we could see another departure here for Team 1. He's dropping into the red. Tesla Max is going to continue to press the issue. 2,100 hit points and falling. He does get a rank in veterancy, so now he's backed up to 3,600, but it does not matter. Tesla is going to continue to press the attack on that southwestern side, and I need to split focus because there's a lot of things going on here in this game. We see Lazy Noob is close to claiming the kill, close to dying against Tesla Max. Nomander has fallen into the red as well with the pushing of Dimitri 11. Those forces have been routed by Team 2's defenses. And looks like the northeastern corner does side to Team 1 for the most part, but it is Lazy Noob who has fallen at 8.5, almost 9 minutes on the clock. We do see that Mutulao and Twitchimofo have forced back Team 2's Katsu, and now it is a 4v6 in favor of Team 2, when initially they had the advantage in comms on the front line. But, you know, it just happens. Sometimes you have the advantage and sometimes you lose it. Tactical missile is outbound for Mutulao. That gun upgrade finishing quite quickly, and he will go after the resourcing options for Azuros. Azuros is back into the yellow. He has nano repair on board, and with this surge in momentum, he will continue to push forward, supporting Dimitri 11 on the front lines, with Slipton Runner looking like he's going to fall back and just reclaim a little bit and maybe go back to his base or even continue to press through the attack. He does have the lower section of the map here in the northeastern corner, but Team 1 has the higher section. They have the high ground, but we'll see if that does aid him in the continuing pursuits. We do see that forces now, with the death of Lazy Noob, are moving westward for Katsu to claim this entire beach side, with one facility online for Twitchimofo in the Navy. Transport laden with the comm of Dimitri 11, gonna drop down here, gonna try to sneak attack against Mutulao, I guess. I don't know where he wanted to go with that, but that looks like that is where he's going. If Katsu were to come and assist, as well as Tesla Max, it would be a 3v2 advantage. There are Ilshis online here for Team 1, pushing back Dimitri's forces. Azuros is pushing northward to cut off Callus's retreat. If it is, it looks like it was happening, and then he decided against it. Transport getting units up to that upper plateau, trying to take out Callus's position up there. And with Dimitri 11 just essentially just now walking home, it looks like it'll be the first kill for Team 1 against Team 2. Katsu's forces move in, but I think it's possibly too late to save that commander. Looks like they might just try to side with a murder-suicide situation. Dimitri 11 is slowly falling. He has nano, so he's staying online for as long as possible. Azuros is coming in as well, hot dropping to assist his teammate of Dimitri 11, and now there's two commanders, three of them now in range of a Mutulao's commander. It might be a just not great scenario here for both of these players. There they go. Murder-suicide situation does happen. And it is a drawn kill here between Mutulao and Dimitri 11. Transport with reinforcing units is denied. Katsu is in the yellow. Same with Twitchimofo. Azuros does fall back. He could have gone after Twitchimofo, but decided against it. Signal Runner on an upgrade. Ilshi's pushing in on this eastern side, pushing back all of the gains that Team 2 had. Katsu trying to force back Twitchimofo. He's still in range, but looks like he will stave off incursion for the time being. But this is a very explosive game here. Team 1 has lost half of their players before 12 minutes. Team 2 has only suffered one loss. And with the destruction of that naval facility here in the west, that is it. Team 1 has lost access to the water on that side of the map. There's also a couple of tridents on board. Looks like they were built before the facility was destroyed. But a couple of frigates aren't really going to amount to much of anything. We do see an counter check on the western side here for Twitchimofo, going after Tesla Max, swarming this T1 PD emplacement. He's trying to build a radar, another PD, but he's being denied currently. Those units are going to be forced back and destroyed. We do see that Signal Runner is holding the ground against some Ilshis, trying to do what he can. He needs some reinforcements or he's going to go down, or at least be forced back significantly. Team 1's Nomander sitting on triple base. Team 1's Twitchimofo also sitting on dual bases with looks like that's the main facility here for Callus. He has T3 air online, so Team 1 has T3 air. Does Team 2 have it? Yes, they do. And this is a very explosive start here of the game. 4 of the 12 players have been eliminated before 13 minutes. Maybe we'll see more depart, maybe we won't. We have Callus in the northeast, we have Nomander in the middle, and Twitchimofo in the southwest, middle, whatever you want to call it. Tactical missile has been started for Tesla Max. He has some PD to protect himself, but stealth comm of Twitchimofo moving in for the kill. Maybe we'll see Tesla Max cancel the upgrade, maybe we won't. Looks like he's paused it for the time being. And Twitchy does have the same range as Tesla Max, so it's just going to be a similar situation. Does Team 1 know he's there? They didn't know he's there. And then does Team 2 know he's there? No, they do not. So it's going to be a one-sided engagement here between these two comms. Unless Team 2 can get some vision on board for that commander, it's not really going to matter. Signal Runner trying to hold the line. Reinforcements have arrived. Signal Runner is dropping into the red. All of those forces from Team 1's Nomad are focusing on the comm. They want another kill to start evening things back up. Dropping below 1,000 hit points. That Ilshi is still in range. 500, 400. Gets her rank eventually, but it doesn't matter at the last second. Team 2 loses another player of Signal Runner, and it is now almost half of the players before 20 minutes have been killed off. Azuris to the rescue. And then why you kill him, says Dimitri. Mistake. We do see some units running around the middle map for Nomander as well. We do see that Tesla Max is being bombarded by Twitchy Mofo's forces. It doesn't matter. He does see him, but it's too late. And there he goes. Team 2 loses another player. Half of the players in the game have been destroyed before 15 minutes. It's gone from a 6v6 game to a 3v3 game in the matter of 15 minutes. 8 p.m. Was it 8 p.m. or a.m.? 8 p.m. And now forces are being forced westward to deal with this incursion. Looks like it's going to be triple base here, 4 Azuros, dual base for Katsu, and 1 base for Pink Bomber. Feel like somebody on Team 2, maybe Azuros, should give control of another base to Pink Bomber so he can have dual base for his air grid. And we do see pings going down here for a lot of players in the chat just saying, hey, do this, do that thing. The dead players in the game trying to assist the best they can, at least for Team 1's focus for Mutalal. He's really good about doing that. I've seen a lot of games where he dies and he stays in and he keeps helping. Anywhere Team's blind, says Signal Runner. Yeah, that's pretty much fair. Making the comment that Team 2 doesn't really have any eyes on anybody on Team 1. And there are 2 Cybrands, 1 Seraphim versus 1 UEF, 1 Seraphim, and 1 Aeon. So all of the factions, at least in terms of comms, are still alive, with there being only 1 Aeon of the game starting anyways, with that being Katsu. We do see that forces are going through a tiny little environment here. It's not great for forming up and grouping up against bigger units, essentially. Pillars are going to rip these units apart very easily given their 1x1 attack vectors. Omni says Pink Bomber, so they're going to build it here. It's going to give them a decent amount of range. This is a 20x20, but not really. It's probably more about a 12 or 13x13. Team 1 does have claim of the southwestern pond, and neither of them have, decided to claim mexes. Looks like some of them were built, but they were denied. And it looks like not really a whole lot's going to happen on that side of the map. Transport laden with some units outbound here from Team 1's Nomander. He has some Authams online. Going to drop down here. That is going to land, unfortunately, against Team 2. So that's going to be a huge grab by them. He inherited 2 bases that weren't T2 or capped yet, says Snog. Lots of conversations in chat. I'm probably not going to be able to keep up with it, so apologies for that. But, of course, you have the benefit of pausing the video to go back and rewind. I wish that was a feature that I could have to be able to rewind, not pause. I can pause and scroll back, but it's easier to pause and scroll, rewind with YouTube being the way that it is, of course. Units on the front lines have now had to force to retreat due to the incoming threat of the Authams. This base is not going to survive very much longer. T2 PD, actually T1 PD, excuse me, trying to be built as fast as it can to deal with this incoming threat. Parashield online will be taken offline, but they're trying to protect those PD emplacements as much as they can. Mexes are the main target here for Nomander. Wants to cut out the mass advantage that Team 2 has, whether or not he knows that or not. Probably not, because they can't see the other players' stats on the other team. But that's essentially what's happening. T2 PD being the base here for Katsu. Be able to force back the other 2 Authams in the south. Dirty, dirty Tesla, says your eco. Aww. Yeah. Do you see that last Autham is going after all those E-storages for the Pink Bomber? He's like, my power, no! You can see his power storage dropped him a little bit there. He still has the same income, but he just doesn't have as much stored power as he once did, of course. That's what E-storage does. Pink Bomber going for a nano as we speak. Team 1 bombers responding to this threat. Transport with some engineers is destroyed. But that often will be dealt with here shortly. The goal was achieved. 4 mexes, 5 mexes, excuse me, 6 mexes are taken offline. Team 2 still has the lead by a decent margin, but now an attack in the north. Coming crashing down from the middle. Azuros' comm is nowhere to be found. He's back here. He's going to move forward once again. The Omni is online, and now it's just war and fighting everywhere on the map. Team 2 had the huge advantage of comms and APM, and now it's a tied-up game here. And this game has changed quite significantly over the course of the first 20 minutes on the clock or in the match. T1 units T2 units spammed up against other T2 units, just fighting one another in the middle between Katsu and Twitchy. We do see that this force outbound from Nomander, spearheaded with T3 forces and assisting units, moving in against Azuros. Azuros needs to stand in the way of this. He has a couple of Percies, which will be perfect for dealing with those Othams, but there's a lot of Ilshis. Actually, there's no Ilshis in it. Well, there's one Ilshi, but there's a decent amount of Othams as well. T2 PD or units, says no, Mutalau. We do see the forces in the northeast here for Azuros are dealing with this Callus force in the north. And units dropped off once again here by Nomander. He's just, if it works, don't fix it, or don't break it. If it works, don't break it. If it works, don't fix it. If it works, don't fix it. Maybe that's the word for it. Parashield's able to protect that Percy for a little longer. The snipers are the main target. Those are killed off. The Othams are going to be the next. There's one T1 PD in placement. They're upgrading the T3 mexes as we speak. And one Percy is taken offline. I think this might be enough. That one Otham is gone. The PD is going to be offline here pretty shortly, so not really going to go great. There are more Percys retrieved and moving over there. More Percys moving into the breach to hold position. There's a lot of Othams in this mix, as well as a lot of shields and T1 Zui. ASF fight possibly happening, possibly not. Team 1's Callus has the bigger number of ASFs than Team 2's Pink Bomber, so it's not really going to favor Team 2 in that regard. Percys get swarmed by Team 1's forces, and Percys that can get out, retreat, and hold back. Mexes have been taken offline. That mass advantage now in favor of Team 1 due to how many Mexes have been killed off in the past couple of minutes. Still in the northeast, Callus's forces are holding. T2 artillery is online though, so it's going to make holding positions kind of hard. Mexes are also being taken offline for him as well. Piercing attack through the middle here from Team 1. Switchy Mofo trying to just open a doorway for Team 1 to move in, but there are more units being thrown at the breach here from Katsu. And Azuros still holding position. He's dealt with the forces over here, but there's more units being transported over. Going to go all the way around, it looks like. We see interceptors on well, and intercept course, and ASFs as well. They notice the threat. They can see it on screen, and that transport is going to drop off its units, and it does make it. Team 1's Nomander saw the threat, took it, and went, it's not worth trying to lose four of them. 4 of them decided to get them out of there. But of course, it's going to take a little bit longer to get them all the way around that mountainside. I'm a big fan of Mexes, says Mutu. I mean, I think everybody's a big fan of Mexes. I would imagine ASF fight does still side with Team 1's Callus. And there's a couple of T3 AA facilities not being established. T3 units being deployed against T2, mainly T2, but a couple of T3 outbound from Twitchy Mofo. 21 minutes on the clock. Team 1 has lost 3 players, that being Mutalao, Lazy, and Snog. Team 2 has lost Tesla Max, Dimitri 11, and Signal Runner, being a tied-up 3v3 game. Team 1 has the map advantage at more than 50% of the map underneath their control and denying a decent section of it against Team 2. And at 21 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. And of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to this point in the video. And let's go ahead and see what this attack is doing here from Nomander. He's continuing to hold position here in this connection point between, essentially this eastern bridge and this western bridge. He's not letting them essentially hold the position, which, if Team 2 had defenses built up, would essentially be a kill box. But because there's no defenses built up, then, on the southern side and the eastern side, it's a great advantage for Nomander. The Othams pushing in against Percys, of course. There are more Percys moving in with parashields to assist them. And those shots outbound from those Percys deal thousands and thousands of damage. A couple of Othams do have some veterancy, though. It gives them a 20% more hit point boost, but does not keep them online for much longer. Does look like a T2 Mechs will be taken offline once again. No, it gets saved for a brief second, and a chicken is online for Team 2's Azuros. Air grid expansion here for Pink Bomber. Has the air grid expansion here for Team 1. Decently, a little bit more than Team 2. Not too much, but a little bit more. He's getting more hives for faster construction of aircraft. Airfight once again happens. Team 2's Pink Bomber is outnumbered significantly. We do see some ASS for Azuros now, so he's getting into the air game ever so slightly, just to assist with air efforts that way. Team 1 has essentially control of the entire lower section of the map on this essentially southwestern side. I've claimed this is the middle, this is the south, and this is the north, but it's a huge portion of the south. Still no mexes down here. Still just a couple mexes hanging out. Large group of T3 forces with assisting T2 moving in. The bricks have better range than the Harbingers. Harbingers do have additional shields, and Ravagers are being built for defensive measures. And those Harbingers are buying time for those Ravagers to come online. More Pigeons being established for more power needs, and that Ravager is finished. Shield going to be built immediately after that. And reinforcements need to come down here from Team 2, or this position that once belonged to Tesla Max will be run over once again. We do see in the middle that chicken is leading the charge against those Othams and other units from Team 1's Nomander. There are some sniper bots in the mix. We'll start poking and prodding at all the Percys, and then that way leaving the chicken all alone. Now we see the units starting to surround that chicken here from Team 2 from Nomander, but it's getting a lot of veterancy for that chicken, almost at 1 star. The units from Twitchy have broken the lines here for Katsu. He's building more PD to defend. And this is a tall order. There's a lot of T3 units in the mix, as well as T2 supporting units. Those T1 PD trying to hold off the bricks. That's the main target first. You know, those were built in response to the Othams, but they're not going to last very much longer. Why does the North team hate you? That's your team, by the way. It's like, why do they hate you? Oh, I don't know. That's the enemy? That's why? Just specifically, well, they do notice that it's the weaker of the 3 sides, essentially. Or 2 sides, I guess, on the land side of things. So that's why they're going after him so much. Team 1 bombers en route to assist. There are a couple of AA units in the mix, but I think they're only T2s. They're more than enough to deal with those bombers. There's gunships moving in as well, going after the rest of those T2 units. PD has been built as hastily as possible, and more Harbingers coming in to assist. More Team 1 bombers now coming in here from the Pink Bomber. This is a huge hole that Team 2 needs to deal with, or it's just going to cause them more and more pain. Callus does have range and speed on board, does have 1 veterancy, and is going to start dealing with all these units personally. His T3 land headquarters is going to fall offline, and all of his UEF support has essentially been knocked out. He can easily just get some units from his teammates for some engineers, but for now, his base is up in smoke. 25 minutes on the clock, and Team 2 has lost a decent portion of their eco. They're barely leading, but barely. We do see that chicken at the same time is carving a path through Team 1's base for Twitchy Mofo. Chicken on the prowl, going for this chicken in the west. We do see that a crab is under construction here for Twitchy Mofo. The engineers have been denied, at least most of them have been, and it's just a trade at this point. Bases being destroyed in the south and in the north for both teams, and most of those forces for Team 2's Azuros are actually routed northward to deal with this group of Trimexes over here. Great grab here by him, going to deny almost 100 mass per second. And that chicken's going to still claim more and more mass income for Twitchy Mofo. The amount of mass that chicken will leave behind will far outweigh the amount of mass that he's already killed off, sitting at 94,000 and climbing. All of these mixes are down. Team 1 has lost a significant portion of their eco overall, specifically Team 1's Twitchy Mofo at 72, while Callus is at 16 mass income. Both of those players are suffering. Katsu is defending his land as much as he can. Another chicken is online for Azos to assist. Nomander has an experimental, most likely another chicken. And I'm talking very, very quickly because there's a lot of stuff going on. Percys are dealing with this Trim Expedition. A couple of gunships online here for the airplay of Callus, dealing with them. But there is now a Cougar online to deal with them. Still, this position in the northeast has not been destroyed here by Team 1. And the reverse here for Team 1 against Team 2. So it's just a constant back and forth. The chicken is now hugging the other chicken here from Team 1. Trying to get as many kills as he can. Goes after another T2 P-Gen. That is a huge hole in both Nomander and Twitchy Mofo's eco. Lots and lots of dead mechs. Team 1 at 600 mass income, almost Team 2 at 800. Team 2 retains the advantage by 200 mass per second, and bricks are still running into the breach here. They want to do as much damage as they can, and they're going to go after Katsu, but there's no chicken now under his control. Gives it over from Azuros, and with that, this will be the end of that attack. At this rate, they might as well just go send it in to go after whatever's left. Or not whatever's left, but go after Pink Bomber, but that chicken is right on their heels. Airfight does still reside with Team 1, but it looks like the numbers are slowly starting to fade in terms of how many they have an advantage over, because the Zeros is adding his forces as well, and his AA. Chicken moving into the middle line here for Nomander. The second chicken moving in to support its brother. You see Zeros is still holding position now with a shield on board. Heavy shield coming online here for Katsu. He has advancements as well. He's going to put his command on the front lines. Engineers aggressively reclaiming all of his former forces for Twitchy Mofo. He needs as much eco as he can, because he is suffering quite significantly. Less than Katsu is, but still. Azero sitting at almost 575 mass income, and that Percy group is just going to suicide on top of that chicken. Unfortunately, it's going to give that chicken a decent amount of veterancy, unfortunately. And that shield still holding on. It is now fallen, but with that, it saves the chicken a decent amount of hit point losses. And Team 1 will net a decent amount of unit kills and mass on terms of reclaim. Another chicken online for him in the east. I'm kind of surprised that Azuros is not going for Fat Boys now that he has so much eco. He can start forcing back Team 1's land expansion in the southwest. Lots of engineers, most likely just spammed out by his land facilities to go after mechs. He has to start off from scratch now. He has no power. He has no nothing. Looks like he is getting some overflow from his teammates. That's the only thing keeping him afloat. And that chicken going after the land expansionary efforts of Twitchy Mofo, so he'll start to lose even more eco, given there's no units remaining. He sent everything he had. Two chickens barreling down the front door for Azuros on this middle causeway position. And more Percys lining up to hold this threat at bay. This chicken needs to be diverted, which it has been for defensive measures. The Azuros has already fallen back in lieu of that attack that is inbound. And Katsu is getting his revenge on Twitchy Mofo's assault. Granted, to be fair, Azuros already kind of did that for him, but still. We do see that the Percy's now in range of the chicken, going to get behind it. And going to try to avoid the chicken, going to start to turn around to deal with said units inbound and trying to encircle them. More Percy's and a chicken is inbound, and the chickens do notice the chicken from Team 2 and are saying, "Get me the heck out of here." And we have a couple of Percys still in range. They're going to try to turn around for a brief second and kill off this Percy. Nope, still alive. Still doing... Oh, now he's dead. Chicken on the western side here being attacked by chickens from Team 1's Nomander and gunships from the air. Well, I mean, I guess gunships do reside in the air, to be fair. Team 2's Azuros, what are you doing with all that eco? You're sitting at 560. You got to be doing something else. Another chicken coming online. Air grid being expanded here by Pink Bomber. Team 1 sitting at 780. They've caught up quite significantly. Team 2 over here as well. The ASF moving in with the gunships as well to go after the chicken here for Team 2. The chicken's going to turn back around. The airfight will reside in Team 2's favor. There's a lot of AA on board those gunships. Not as much as restorers, but there's a decent amount. And that chicken will be the main target of those gunships. Team 2 will net a huge advantage with now having air and a lot of gunships to reclaim once they deal with this chicken threat, which they will now turn around and face. The chickens are going to just walk into their doom at this point. I feel like Nomander should have just had them retreat. I mean, this chicken will be defeated, to be fair, but these Percys will rip apart one of those chickens quite quickly. It's going to just net the advantage to Team 2. You can see one chicken in the red. A couple more shots will do him in. There he goes. Second chicken going to get blitzed down as well. The Ion Storms will kill off all the Percys, but that's not the worry here. The worry is making sure the reclaim stays over here, which it will. New chicken is online, though. Another chicken coming online to try to, again, pinch and maneuver Team 2's Katsu. Katsu has moved up north to assist, and that chicken is in the yellow. And the Zeros is nearby. I don't know if this is wise to go after him. He's going to try to overcharge. That chicken is going to actually fall back. Overcharge inbound, takes out a chunk of hit points in the bricks. Now going to blitz that, calm down. The chicken looks like he's going to turn around and face Katsu. Team 1 bombers on approach from both the south and the east. Percy's moving in to assist with retreat efforts by Katsu's commander. And that chicken is going to go down in smoke. There he goes. Thousands of hit points from those bombers. But some of those shots do miss, of course, because the chicken did move. But Katsu is defending on the west. We have a Zeros moving. Zeros has already retreated. He's getting some Ravagers online. Katsu is going to be annihilated by dual chickens. And Team 2 is going to suffer another casualty here. He needs to get underneath shield coverage, but it's far too late. There he goes. Team 2 loses another player. It is now a 3v2 in favor of Team 1. Chickens continue to push forward. Ravagers have been built. Long-range units long-range defenses as they are. Chicken dead in a Zeros' frontline shield. This chicken will be forced back. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 chicken wrecks essentially on Team 2's doorstep. And Team 2 needs that reclaim desperately. Awasaw bomber under construction here now that Team 2 has the air advantage. And the rest of those bricks have been dealt with. That is a lot of action very, very quickly here. Team 2 now, Azuro's inheriting everything that Katsu owns. Still has to deal with a couple of annoying threats from Twitchy Mofo, continuing to just plague the southern side of this position here for Team 2. ASF's got a decent engage, but there's a lot of T3 AA starting to be built here as well for Team 1 to deal with that. And all of them start to cleanse the eastern edge, or eastern front of Team 2's defenses and mass generating structures. That chicken is in full retreat, and Team 2's Azuros will claim the reclaim field and sit there and hang out. Telly says Mutulal. I mean, it is a 3-2 advantage if both the Cybern commanders are able to kill off one of the enemy the Team 2's commanders. It will just net Team 1 the win, leaving Nomander most likely being the sole survivor. But that is a risk to take, though. Second chicken online, and Team 2's Zeros has fallen back. Lots and lots of chickens in this game. Lots and lots of death in terms of comms very early on. Half of them just very, very quickly here. Bomber is online for Azuros, and that will change the tide of this conflict quite significantly. Bomber already moving in, probably going after this. There are Team 1 bombers moving in as well. They're going after the back off him, the one that the Percy is already shooting at. And those other units are already dealt with. Slowly but surely, these two chickens are pushing forward. But the bomber has been noticed by Team 1. And where is it being? It's being sent to the base up here to the north. This one for Azuros has finally been knocked out by Callus. It took a while. But it looks like he's moving in for the air grid. And this is not going to be stopped. That grid is going to go down. Shields are being built in response just as much as they can be. But it's going to probably plop it right there in the middle of that PGen. ASF will protect that bomber. Bomb will drop. There it goes. And I don't think the shields will hold. Engineers are already taken out in the blast. There they go. Section of the air grid is down. And you'll get another bombing run inbound. Looks like he may be going after... Nope, he is going to go after the rest of the air grid. Team 2 will have sole air advantage. New shield has been built. It's going to land right here, going after some mexes as well. Going to kill off 2 of them, drop his eco down even significantly more. AA in terms of flak, not great, but it's something. Shield is offline. Hover bomb does commence. And Callus trying to balance his eco to deal with that, but the bomb lands just in the nick of time before the shields pop back online. All those hives are gone. Callus is in the red. His air grid is gone. His mass, some of his mass extractors are gone. Looks like now the Awasaw are focusing on other endeavors. And that triple chicken threat is still in. I'm going to have to split the attention because that bomber is wreaking havoc on Nomander's base now. We do see the chickens are pushing in. There's a transport hanging out with the chickens for some reason. Don't know why that's happening. Looks like he's targeting all of the main facilities, deciding what he wants to go for next. Looks like he's going to go after this position, building a bunch of AA. 1 chicken versus 3. And there goes the bomb landing. Going to kill off a ton of AA support. There it goes. Team 1's eco and Team 2's roughly the same still. But it's going to significantly drop in Team 2's favor here pretty shortly. Laser has been started by Twitchy Mofo. Nice micro Azuros. That is a nice micro. That is actually on the opponent's team from Azuros. That's 4 Azuros from Mutulao, who's on the other team. I do love the camaraderie. Saying that is a good move and all that stuff. Another group of T2 mechs is going offline. And that eco, like I said, is dropping. Looks like Team 1... Oh, looks like they were reclaiming. Still, Team 1 is in the lead for total mass income per second. 4 chickens on the front line, though, so while Team 1 is losing the air game, Team 2 is losing the land game. Multiple of those chickens are severely wounded, though. Where is that? Oh, the bomber's moving in again. AA trying to be hastily built by everybody on this northern side of the map for Team 1. Gonna land on top of that shield. Gonna kill off more and more stuff. Will hold the shield. Chicken is inbound here from Azuros. One last hope. There, of course, there's a line of Ravagers back here, and a second chicken now online for Pink Bomber. That might be enough. This amount of firepower from the Ion Storm might be enough to, chug through at least a couple of those chickens. And Bomber still raining its terror on Nomander's forces and defenses. Shield being assisted quite heavily to keep it online. At least that's what it looked like for a second. And Ion Storm does activate. And there's still 2 chickens alive here for Team 1. Zeros is distracted, of course, dealing with all this. 2 chickens still remain. Looks like the SMD is the main target now. It looks like it's going for the air grid, just coincidentally. It's going to be a trade in air versus ground at this point. We have engineers already on the scene scooping up the reclaim as it follows. This shield is not going to go offline. We do see the 2 chickens are going for that grid, and Pink Bomber has now retreated. And it says Sam's. Why won't you build Sam's? Going after 3 mechs down here in the south. Bombers hastily being thrown together to deal with this incursion. T2 PD also being built. And this is a large amount of mass that Team 1 is divvying up for this attack. We have more units outbound from Twitchy Mofo from the west to cleanse the rest of that positioning for Azuros. The air grid is the target, and those Team 1 bombers might be enough to save some of the air grid. That chicken has now diverted to this chicken, but that chicken's going to die. And this chicken's going to die as well. The Ion Storm's going to activate in the middle of this air grid, essentially killing most, if not all of it off. And how's that bomber doing? I have 2 things focusing on the same thing. Remember that helpful Alwasaw bomber at 190,000 mass, going to kill off the radar and the soothsayer instantaneously with that dropping of the bomb. And it looks like Callus has given pretty much everything over to Nomander. And that's going to drop on this Trimex position as well. Team 1 barely in the lead for now, but we'll lose that lead given the fact that now Team 2 has taken out another Trimex position. That eco will drop. And there goes Team 2 is back in the lead for mass generation. This bomber has paid for itself a lot. This one bomber is really what's keeping Team 2 in this game in terms of eco prowess. Team 1 would have a really easy time just annihilating the air grid, of course, and the main frontline facilities. Bomb going to land on top of Nomander's new position once again against Callus. There goes the shield. There goes the air grid again. And Callus is still fine. Lots of lightning tanks have been built to defend against said bomber, but 239,000 mass killed from that one bomber. And some ASF have been divvied or has been diverted over here. There is some AA on board that bomber though, so it helps a little bit. Looks like it's now going over here. Zero's just trying to take anything and everything out at this point. And there he goes, dropping on more stuff in the north. Kills off more mass income. Not a lot, but something. And it's just devastating here for Team 1. They put a lot of emphasis on this attack, and Team 2 has claimed the reclaim field. Of course, there's all the reclaim down there that he'll just rebuild into the air grid. Another group of mass extractors going down here for Team 1. 4 pigeons. Something about bomber. Takes time. Don't lose hope, says Mutkalau. Trying to inspire his team to continue to push forward given the strenuous situation they do find themselves in. Their income is definitely not bad. It's 860. Another experimental is built by Azuros. What is it? It's another chicken. But that's a lot of reclaim to grab. Bomber moving in now to the land units over here. Going to take out all the shields. And then another bomb's going to move in and take those out. Team 1 doesn't have any sort of air to fight back. They're producing more air facilities as we speak, but it's going to take a while. That bomber is still a huge threat here for Team 1. Killed off 244,000 mass. And now an attack down the middle here, spearheaded by Percy's, and the chicken actually just retreats and goes, it's not really worth it. And these aren't Percy's, excuse me, these are Harbingers. And they're starting to surround that chicken, drop its hit points quite quickly, I might add. And T1 Bomber's on approach here. I think at this point I can end the split because pretty much everything's already been dealt with, at least in terms of the attack from the Bomber. Bomber killing up the rest of the forces over here for Team 1, essentially exiling them. I want to make sure there's still room for me to view that that mass on the reclaim side of things. Twitch Mofo has the laser, building the teleporter as we speak. He still has some income, but it's being cannibalized by Nomander, at least some of it is. It looks like the Harbinger is now dealing with the rest of Team 1's forces in the southern western section of the map. Team 1 engineers building land facilities to pump out engineers to scoop up reclaim, I would imagine. Where's that bomber landing once again? Did he just call it back to base? That's a chicken, that's a chicken, that's a chicken. Where's that bomber at? I hear it. I just don't see it. No, that's the grid. No, those are the chickens. Where is that? It hasn't been killed off, so I don't know where it is. Unless it got killed off screen. No, Callus still take that hit up there. Oh, it's just sitting over here. Okay. There's nothing over here, so. Harbinger's moving in, killing off more of the eco here for Team 1's Twitchy Mofo. Getting revenge for all the times that he's been, getting revenge for his teammates who have been attacked a bunch on this southwestern side. Teleporter at 17%, slowly climbing. He has to then build it and then teleport away. Team 1's Nomander trying to get a firebase in the middle of the map here. That would easily get bombed by that Awasal bomber, though, so he has to be very careful. I am full, says Twitchy Mofo. Talking about mass, I'm assuming. Oh, he has a... Yeah, he's talking about mass. He only has 720 in his mass bar. He's not really spending any of it. And pigeons are coming offline. And chicken v chicken fight here over here. Pigeons, that's going to really hurt Twitchy Mofo's ability to build that teleporter upgrade. Once that other one falls offline, he's just getting some excess from his teammates at this point. Chickens cleanse the front line here for Team 2, pushing forward. There's no chickens here to defend. And those Harbingers continuing to move in. Air grid going to be protected by some PD. That'll be enough to defend for the time being. And that bomber is just being held back in reserve. 246,000 mass killed by itself. Nice little spy plane running around the map. Another bomber is going to be built. That's what Azuros is waiting for. He's going to double up and send him in against probably the air grid up here that's been formed. And a couple of Harbingers do break through the front lines, but not really any concern at that point. Teleporter 33 more, a little bit more than 33% done. And I think it's just the beginning of the end here for Team 1 on the land side of things. Crabs are being built here shortly by Nomander. One wool complete. Air grid, no efforts for Team 1's Callus to really come back. He's kind of been kicked out of the game. 3 chickens moving in on this middle side of the map. They will be enough to kill off the crab. I'm assuming the crab will kill off one of the chickens before they really do much of anything else. Bombers, looks like they might be moving. That one did move. I don't see them as of yet. Where'd they go, I wonder? I don't see them anywhere, which is very weird. Because he was sitting over here, and then he was building the second one, which he's built. Did he already send them in? No? No, I don't see them. Use. We do see those chickens are moving into range of the crab. The crab slowly retreating, but it doesn't matter. The chickens are now in range. 3 chickens versus 1 crab. It's not gonna matter. Second chicken here for Team 1 moving into assist. This chicken will die in front of this chicken. And by the time that Ion Storm activates, it'll do damage to that chicken from Team 1's Nomander. First is moving in as well. Bombers are dropping somewhere. Where are they? I heard them for a second. They're down here. Looks like they might have gone after those triads that were built. Well, not tridents, excuse me. They were built in the water. I see the bombers on screen over here in the mini-map. Still haven't been given orders to move in yet. Chicken's going to now take out the main base for Nomander. And that might just cause the evacuation of Team 1. Causes Callus to control K. ASF fight does happen. Team 1 will have the advantage in that regard. Bombers don't know where they went. And there's the explosion up there. T3 Matchpad being taken offline. Crab was built in the nick of time, though. But I don't think that's going to matter. This crab has not been given orders to actually go after the chickens. And the crab's like, oh yeah, there's chickens following me. That's not okay. We have land incursion here from some Harmages from Azuros pushing in. Crab under construction has been halted for the time being. Teleporter 55% here for Twitchy Mofo. It is Nomander versus the world at this point. And yeah, I don't know what he's doing with those bombers, but he's going to do something with them, I guess. Maybe that's going to be the last hurrah here for him, just bomb Nomander out of existence and call it a day. Chickens are moving into range ever so slightly of Nomander. They're slowly closing that gap. Chicken now on the south side of things. This chicken looks like these chickens are just going to make a break for that air grid. T2 PD being built to halt this incursion. 1200 carry, says Snog. Bombers are inbound from the east, opening the doors for those chickens to move in. Going after Nomander's commander. He's going to control K them on top of him as well. Just add insult to injury at that point. There Nomander goes. Oh, man, that's got to hurt. Nomander control. Well, I mean, that's due to the P-gens exploding. This Ion Storm will kill the chicken off here from Nomander. Leaving Team 1's Twitchy Mofo, the last remaining player of Team 1. He's going to have a lot of eco now to play with for a little bit. Still sitting at a decent amount. Team 2 significantly behind. Is that power related, I wonder? Yeah, well, that is significantly. What is he building that's causing him to lose that much power? Oh, he's just building another bomber. Okay. It's like, you're down 50,000 power. What are you doing? It is progressing, though. At this point, we kind of know his play. I'm going to speed it up. See your marker, says Dimitri. Click camera icon in chat. Oh, yeah, they've spotted him. They know where he is. You enemy. It's not a marker. It's a camera link. Discussing about that, and looks like he just teleports out and calls it a day. Team 2 wins the game. 47 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock. That was very explosive, very much a back and forth. Team 1 lost players very quickly, then Team 2 lost back-to-back, and then the chickens bursting through the front doors at the same time that the bomber was coming in for Azuros. MVP, I mean, if it isn't obvious, just by my coverage of me just talking about the bombers so much, Azuros wins the game. His chickens and his Awasaw bombers were enough to hold and break through. And this game was back and forth. I thought Team 1 had it for a little bit, or Team 2 had it for a little bit. Then Team 1 came back, carving a path from the south side. But Azuros just kept producing, kept pushing forward. And those bombers came in, really just cut Team 1's momentum in half. And then once this chicken threat was finished, that was it. Team 2 had the reclaim. It was just a matter of time till they punched on through. And that was the game, folks. Again, MVP goes to Azuros. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or not. Of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to the end of the video. And I will see all of you in the next one.